Lurking in the shadows of our society, there is a group that holds sinister intentions for the Earth. They come from a different world and are rumored to have interfered with the existence of mankind, perhaps even altering the genetic code of our ancestors. These mysterious beings are tied to nearly every conspiracy theory you've ever heard of and are rumored to have infiltrated our societies at the highest levels of business and government. But who are they and where do they come from? Who are the Reptilians? Reptilians are a supposed alien species that came to Earth during the time of the ancient Sumerians. In fact, much of what we know of them is documented through Sumerian writings. What we do know is that at some point during the Sumerian reign, the Annuna, which translates to gods, came from the sky and settled on the Earth. These gods were then referred to as Annunaki, gods who live on Earth. Many people associate the Reptilians with the strange arrival of the Annuna because of the sudden emergence of reptile worship after the Anunnaki were settled. There are several arguments that claim the Sumerian writings are not enough evidence to link to the Reptilians to these strange Anunnaki. What cannot be denied, however, is the many reptilian theories that have come to light as a result of the Sumerian writings. Common reptilian theories. There are two theories as to where the reptilians came from. Some believe that the reptilians evolved on Earth millions of years ago until they were able to venture into space. Their reappearance during the age of the Sumerians was simply a decision to return to Earth, not the takeover of a new world. Others believe the reptilians come to us from the Draco constellation and then traveled throughout the galaxy before they discovered Earth. They then assimilated into Earth's government and helped to propel the ancient world into an age of enlightenment. Some of these reptilians bred with humans and created crossbred offspring that are supposedly responsible for feats such as the ancient pyramids in Egypt. Theorists would tell us that the reptilians are a humanoid species that appear to be human from the feet to the neck, but have a face that resembles a reptile. They tend to be much taller than the average human, at least during that point in time, and have knowledge which is thought to have helped in shaping the ancient world. In fact, some theorists claim that they were responsible for helping to create the major religions that came out of the Middle East: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Reptilian motivations. So what do these strange creatures want? Supposedly to enslave the human race. And really, what better group could there be to blame all of the world's conspiracies on than the first alien settlers to make contact with our ancestors? There are many different variations on how these reptilians may have set out to enslave the human race. According to some theorists, the Anunnaki accomplished this by genetically modifying the DNA of primates to make them more suitable servants. Others argue that the reptilians simply modified a short segment of human DNA to make our forefathers more submissive. There are some variations of this theory that claim that humans can only a small part of their brain capacity because of how the reptilians altered our brain structure. Many who believe this theory point to the reptile genes that can be found in our brains and are responsible for a large portion of our brain activity. Salvation of the human race. According to Sumerian writings, this supposed plot was foiled by a character named Enki, a god that came to Earth from a different place than the Anunnaki. He freed certain humans from slavery by telling them a secret, though we are no longer certain as to what that secret may be. Apparently, Enki's tactics didn't pan out for the long run, because many believe the reptilians are still alive and well. In fact, there are some that believe the reptilians comprise the majority of the world's governments and businesses. Popular reptilian candidates include Queen Elizabeth II and George W. Bush. Reptilian leaders like this supposedly keep the humans of the world in check by poisoning their food and distracting them with politics and war. The most popular belief among all reptilian theorists is that this strange alien group hopes to unite the countries of the world with a new world order that will give them complete control of our societies once and for all. Physical appearance. Not surprisingly, there are relatively few descriptions to go off of as to what the reptilians actually look like. There are supposedly at least two orders of reptilians: the winged draconians and the reptoids. The draconians are an albino reptile species with wings. They are the highest in the reptilian hierarchy. The reptoids are next in the pecking order. They lack wings and have scaly skin that is a sort of brownish hue. The reptoids comprise the soldiers and scientists of the reptilians. These reptilians can range anywhere from 5 to 12 feet in height. The draconians tend to be taller than the reptoids and have scaly skin, reptile-like eyes, and are uncommonly strong. They do not wear a human shell to blend into society, but instead use vibrations to alter the way they are perceived by humans. Hybrids. There are also supposedly hybrids that exist in human form that are not aware they are reptilians. These hybrids are controlled by the reptilians existing in the fourth dimension and are used to further the New World Order. These hybrids have existed as some of the world's greatest leaders and have performed some of the most amazing and terrifying acts in history. So how do you spot these reptilians and hybrids? Most believers will tell you that the most common way to catch a reptilian in action is to watch for what most people simply see as camera glitches. Most reptilians will be Caucasian or have light skin. They also tend to have green, hazel, or blue eyes that can sometimes change in color. Many reptilians have some sort of scar or other defining feature on their faces to make them stand out. Theorists believe this may be an attempt to cover up the roughness of their skin. To catch a reptilian, monitor their appearance in photos and videos. Believers claim you can easily spot the difference in a human and a reptilian or reptilian hybrid by watching for several key clues. One of the most popular is the appearance of red eyes in images. This is fairly common for most people who take pictures on a low-grade camera, but will supposedly happen frequently if you encounter a reptilian. There are also sometimes changes in the appearance of the eyes of reptilians when they are being filmed. Other changes include subtle scaly skin and slight blue-green tints to skin. Common reptilian identifiers. Reptilians and their hybrid kin are usually void of empathy, or at the very least have extreme difficulty trying to feel or express emotion. They will typically be unsympathetic to the troubles and suffering of those around them. They also tend to have a need for power that drives them. Reptilians are also extremely intelligent. They have a deep thirst for knowledge that drives them, especially when it comes to space and science. Many believers also claim that reptilians are constantly working to create chaos and destruction in the world around us. This is usually accompanied by the claim that reptilians feed off of negative energy, and it is necessary for them to sustain their way of life. Others simply believe that reptilians crave control and will do anything to maintain their grip on society. Popular conspiracy theories. Paul Bennewitz. Among all of the UFO conspiracy theories that exist in the world today, few are as recognizable as Paul Bennewitz's supposed discovery of an underground UFO base located in Dulce, New Mexico. Paul Bennewitz started off as a highly respected physicist that happened across secret projects being conducted by the Air Force and the NSA at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. He believed these projects were somehow related to cattle mutilations and local alien abductee stories that were common in the area. His investigations led him to the town of Dulce. There is a base that operates in Dulce that is said to serve as the base of operations for a group of unfriendly extraterrestrials who use the 7th level of the base to conduct genetic engineering experiments. These extraterrestrials are commonly identified as the Reptilians. Bennewitz took his claims to the UFO community, where they quickly spread and were accepted by many believers. However, there are also those who do not accept his claims as truth because of his quick descent into madness and admitted interference with military and government agents of misinformation. In spite of this, there are still many who believe Bennewitz's theories to this day. In fact, a former security officer at the Dulce Base, Thomas Costello, confirmed that the base does have 7 levels. According to Costello, the 7th level is comprised of natural caverns that he believes used to be frequented by several extraterrestrial races in the past. David Icke. When it comes to the reptilians, most of today's theories come from the now infamous David Icke. Icke was originally a pro football player, also known as soccer in America, but had to retire early due to arthritis. For a while, he was content with serving as a sports broadcaster and representative of the Green Party, but soon descended into madness when a psychic told him that he had a special purpose on Earth and would soon receive messages from the spirit world. Icke soon wanted to be known as the son of the Godhead and was convinced that the world was being run by a group called the Babylonian Brotherhood. reptilians, who use shape-shifting to allow themselves to blend into society as prominent figures and leaders. The goal of this brotherhood is to create a new world order that will give them complete control over the free world. Many who believe in reptilians today have had their views heavily impacted by Icke and his teachings. There are those who debate over Icke's methods. Some believe he is simply a conspiracist gone mad, while others believe his theories are simply encouragement for non-intellectuals to question the state of world today and a lens to help them examine events more closely. Regardless of what Icke's goals are and what his state of sanity is, he is and always will be one of the pioneering voices in the reptilian conspiracy. Herbert Schirmer. Last but not least, we can't forget the famous account of Herbert Schirmer's account of encountering a UFO on the side of the road in Ashland, Nebraska. At first, all Schirmer could remember was his encounter with a strange craft hovering above the side of the road. Later on, however, he agreed to undergo hypnosis to recover hidden memories that had been lost. He recalled being escorted onto the spacecraft and interacting with beings who looked just like humans, but were dressed in a gray-white uniform with the picture of a winged serpent on the chest. Conspiracy theorists everywhere were quick to link the account to reptilians and accounted for the human appearance of the entities as being due to the shape-shifting abilities of reptilians. Suspected reptilians. Throughout time, there have been countless religious and mythological figures that resemble the reptilians. Most of these supposed reptilians are simply part of folklore that has been passed down from ancient cultures, but a few of these creatures are studied in cryptozoology. Cecropsi. According to legend, the first king of Athens was part man and part serpent. His waist up was shaped like a man, and his bottom half has been described as being like a serpent or fishtail. Cecrops, I was famed among the Athenians, and is said to have given them an abundance of knowledge. He is said to have taught the Athenians to engage in marriage instead of partnering randomly for short flings. He is also credited with teaching his people to read, write, and bury their dead using ceremonies. Legend also tells that it was Cecrops who decided Athena would be the patron goddess of Athens. The Cherufa. The Cheruf comes to us from Chilean lore that tells of an evil humanoid reptilian creature that lived in magma pools inside volcanoes. The Cheruf was thought to be the cause of damage from volcanoes and meteorites. To appease the Cheruf, a sacrificial victim was thrown into the depths of the volcano. It was said that the Cheruf hungered for any human flesh, but was especially fond of young virgins. The Dragon King. The Dragon King is a water deity that is thought to control the weather, the creatures of the sea, and all other dragons. He can appear in many different forms, but is most commonly seen as the Yellow Dragon and the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas. Echidna. Echidna is a reptilian from Greek mythology and is considered to be the mother of all monsters. From the waist up, she was an irresistible nymph, and from the waist down, she was a fearful serpent. Her partner is the infamous Typhon. Together, they created some of the most feared monsters in Greek mythology. Echidna is immortal and doesn't age, but isn't like other gods and goddesses. She is also said to eat the raw flesh of human beings, which causes some to wonder if her snake body ended in a serpent's head. The Gorgons. Greek literature is full of tales which tell of the Gorgons, three sisters who had venomous snakes instead of hair. These terrifying sisters were known to be able to turn a person to stone if they were to make eye contact, and are known to cause destruction anywhere they went. The most famous of the Gorgons was Medusa, a reptilian who was slain by Perseus because she was not immortal like her sisters Stheno and Euryale. Lamia. According to Greek mythology, Lamia was once a beautiful woman that captured the attention of Zeus. When Hera discovered that Lamia was one of Zeus's lovers, she destroyed Lamia's children. She then caused Lamia to turn into a terrible monster that devoured children out of grief of losing her own children. Several accounts tell us that Lamia was half woman and half serpent. Lemurians. Though many believe the Lemurians were somehow related to primates like lemurs, there are those who believe that the Lemurians may have been reptilian humanoids. This belief is largely supported by the writings of Helena Blavatsky, a co-founder of Theosophy. Ninjizida. Ninjizida is one of the guardians of Anu's palace in Sumerian mythology. He has been described as a serpent with a human head. Ninjizida is also thought to be the lord of the Tree of Life. Sobek. Sobek is an ancient Egyptian deity who is said to have the body of a man and the head of a crocodile. It is said that he also appeared in the form of a Nile crocodile or West African crocodile on occasion. Sobek was the god of fertility and military power. He was also considered to be a protector, especially when it came to dangers that were associated with the Nile River. Typhon. Typhon was the partner to Echidna, and a fearful monster who was feared by both mortals and immortals. He was a powerful being, half man and half serpent. Many writings describe him as having 100 snake heads coming out of his shoulders that were capable of spewing fire in their wake. Typhon and Echidna are credited with created some of the most feared monsters in all of Greek mythology. Some writings claim that Hera gave birth to Typhon because she was angry that Zeus had given birth to Athena alone. She prayed to the Titans and became pregnant with Typhon, whom she later gave to Python to raise. Typhon would later challenge Zeus for control of the cosmos, but was defeated by the might of Zeus's thunderbolts. Wadjet. Wadjet was the patron goddess of Lower Egypt and later became patron goddess of all of Egypt. She was often depicted as a woman with a snake head, though she sometimes appeared as a snake, usually an Egyptian cobra. Wadjet is often associated with the Eye of Ra, a protective deity. Many depictions show Wadjet as a cobra coiled upon Ra's head to provide him with protection. Explanation of the myth. Many who try to shed light on the introduction of the reptilians as a common conspiracy theme often point to Robert E. Howard. It is Howard's work, Shadow Kingdom, that first introduced the idea of serpent men to literature as rulers of a secret society that controlled the world. This book incorporated the idea that reptilians could have thrived in the lost worlds of Atlantis and Lemuria and been responsible for the great technologies of the ancient worlds. In fact, many of David Icke's theories comes from literature by Howard or authors who were inspired by Howard. Others simply point to the Sumerian writings as the cause of the reptilian hysteria. It is undeniable that these writings are a source of inspiration for many, including Howard, and there are many mythologists that believe the writings hold some truth. However small, there are also those who simply see the many reptilians that appear in history as hyperboles or imagined creatures to explain the world in a way that made sense to our ancient ancestors. Conclusion: the reptilian enigma, myth, manipulation, or hidden reality. The idea of a clandestine reptilian race manipulating humanity from the shadows is one of the most controversial and enduring conspiracy theories of our time. From ancient Sumerian texts to modern whistleblowers, the narrative of reptilian overlords has persisted across millennia, evolving with each era, yet always pointing toward a singular, unsettling possibility that Earth is not entirely ours. The ancient roots of the reptilian mythos. The earliest accounts of reptilian beings emerge from Sumerian cuneiform tablets, which describe the Anunnaki, gods who descended from the heavens to shape human civilization. These entities, often depicted as serpentine or draconic, are said to have genetically modified early humans, either as slaves or as a hybrid species under their control. Similar figures appear in mythologies worldwide. Cecrops, the half-serpent king of Athens who bestowed knowledge upon humanity. Sobek, the crocodile-headed Egyptian god of power and fertility. Typhon and Echidna, the monstrous progenitors of Greek mythology. The dragon kings of Chinese lore, controllers of weather and cosmic forces. These recurring motifs suggest a deep-seated archetype, one that may stem from actual encounters with an advanced, non-human intelligence or from a collective subconscious fear of predatory dominance. Modern conspiracy, from Dulce to David Icke. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the reptilian theory exploded into mainstream conspiracy culture, fueled by whistleblowers, alleged abductees, and researchers who claim that these beings never left, they simply went underground. Paul Benowitz exposed the Dulce Base, a supposed underground facility where reptilians conduct horrific genetic experiments on humans and animals. Herbert Schirmer, a police officer who, under hypnosis, recalled encountering humanoid figures adorned with winged serpent insignias. David Icke, the most vocal proponent of the theory, asserts that reptilian shapeshifters have infiltrated global elites, manipulating wars, economies, and religions to keep humanity enslaved. Skeptics dismiss these claims as paranoia or psychological projection, yet the consistency in testimonies across different cultures and eras raises disturbing questions. The reptilian agenda: control, chaos, and consumption. If reptilians exist, what do they want? Theories vary, but common threads emerge. Genetic domination. The idea that they altered human DNA to suppress higher consciousness, keeping us docile and controllable. Energy harvesting. Some believe they feed on human fear and suffering, explaining why global power structures thrive on war, division, and trauma. The New World Order, a long-term plan to consolidate Earth under a single authoritarian regime with reptilian hybrids at the helm. This narrative paints humanity as cattle in an invisible farm. Our history, a carefully crafted illusion designed to keep us from realizing our true potential or our true rulers. Are reptilians real? The unanswerable question. Science rejects the reptilian hypothesis due to a lack of empirical evidence. Yet the absence of proof is not proof of absence. Consider, why do so many ancient cultures worship serpent gods? Why do modern whistleblowers describe similar entities in secret military facilities? Why do world leaders, celebrities, and elites exhibit bizarre, almost non-human behaviors? The most chilling possibility is that the truth is hidden in plain sight, disguised as myth, dismissed as madness, yet whispered in the darkest corners of history. Final thoughts, a call for awakening. Whether reptilians are literal beings, interdimensional entities, or symbolic representations of corrupt power, their legend serves a crucial purpose. It forces us to question reality. If they exist, then humanity's struggle for freedom is far greater than we imagined. If they are myth, then their persistence reveals our deep fear of invisible control. In the end, the reptilian conspiracy is not just about aliens, it's about power, deception, and the fight for human sovereignty. To dismiss it outright is to ignore centuries of eerie patterns. To accept it blindly is to fall into paranoia. The middle path: vigilance, discernment, and the courage to seek truth, no matter how strange it may be. The shadows are watching. The question is, are we ready to look back? Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I love hearing from you. Check out more videos on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.